In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
We need to stop CPS and abolish CPS.com is leading the way. Join us.
All right. Let's get it on. It is Saturday night, and this is CPS Talk with Vinny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show, everybody. Got a lot to talk about tonight, as I'm going to be reviewing some of my case, going over a couple of things with you guys, as far as what I've been up to, what I am doing. So we will get it on, and I will get also Miss Kim out here with me. She has seen a lot of what I have been doing, as far as working on my motions to other things that I've been finding. I just spoke to a lady named Lisa, who is an amazing person. She is fighting to get her son back here in Maine, and she has a lot of knowledge. So I hope to reveal her on the show eventually within the next week or two. So she'll be able to come out and get a feel of what we talk about, what we're sharing as parents, what's going on as far as CPS, what they are doing to us families, what they are doing to our kids. So with that said, I'm going to bring Kim out here with me, who is an advocate. Miss Kim, you there?
I am here, Vinny. I apologize. I'm not on camera at the moment. A friend of mine's birthday is tonight, and I am trying to get ready to go out and celebrate with her.
Oh, wow.
So,
Awesome. Awesome. That's awesome. Hopefully you
yeah,
guys have a great fun time.
yeah. One of the things about this whole situation with fighting for our kids and losing our kids is I learned the hard way that if we don't, continue to try to have our own lives, it's going to end up killing us. And when we do get our kids back, there's not going to be anything there for them.
No.
So if we don't continue to, to do what we need to do, socialize and have friends and do things that are healthy for us to survive, then it's not benefiting our kids for us to just be hermits and stay hole up in the house and whining and sulking because we don't have our kids. It's not going to keep us healthy enough to continue to fight. It's going to put us in a state that we're going to end up taking our lives, or we're going to end up being in a mental institution. So,
Yep.
that was a very difficult thing for me to come to terms with. But after speaking with my therapist, we decided that I decided that it was the best thing for me to at least try to have some semblance of a life, so that
Yeah.
my kids did have a healthy mother to come home to.
The kind of life that I wish I could have, but with this strict fucking mandate that this judge put on me and doesn't allow me to change my bail, and the DA knowing that, in fact, that if he had me put bogus charges on, that he would restrict me from getting my bail hearing. So with that said, I'm stuck here. I'm stuck to the 2-acre lot that we live on. So I cannot leave unless I have to go out. Appointment wise, that is about it. I cannot go out to work. I cannot do nothing. I have no damn life. And that is unconstitutional because they have restricted me from making an income for myself, to be able to provide for my children if and when the time is right, they come back. Um, so they've demeaned the shit out of me and put me out there to the public, um, made me look like this big ass monster. Um, and when I'm not, I'm a father who has fought for his kids all of his life. I've taken care of my nieces, my nephews. I raised a couple of my nieces, and I'm made out to be this big problem for them because I am this type of person where I'm going to tell it like it is, and I'm not going to shoot you down. I'm going to tell you facts, and based on the facts that I find, not the facts that these people find that are so corrupt beyond belief that it's not even goddamn funny to. I was just talking with Lisa about the West Bath District Court, and she was talking about the judge. Well, I looked at my paperwork, and they're in fact the same judge that handled all these death cases to do within that system. Not only handled those cases, they've also trafficked children out of that courthouse. Um, they've trafficked her son out of that courthouse with his father, and put him in an abused home. And not only has that happened, but they also terminated my rights to my child when he was 5 or 6 years old without a hearing. There was never a hearing held on termination of rights. So they violated my rights
That's
right there.
that's the only way they know how to function is to violate our rights. But I actually listened to a podcast yesterday. I don't know if you have Sirius XM radio, but there is a podcast on there called the Last Mile, and they actually got a new host literally like 4 episodes ago. His name is Ryan Leaf. I don't know if if you follow pro football. But Ryan Leaf was actually a pro football player out of Montana, and he was when Peyton Manning got drafted, he was as well. He was the first a first draft, and Peyton was second draft in that particular draft. Anyway, Ryan, all of the stuff with fame went to his head, and he ended up getting addicted to narcotics and blew all of his money and ended up becoming a person that basically started, stealing from his family and his neighbors and what have you. And he ended up going to prison for a couple of years. Um, he got out and he changed his life. Well, this most recent episode, he had a gentleman by the name of JJ Velasquez
Yep,
um,
I
on
know that
his
name.
show. So JJ, so you know that name. So JJ was released from prison about 3 years ago. He spent almost 24 years in prison for a crime that he did not commit. DNA exonerated him for. It took almost 24 years for this man to get out of prison. And he ended up, while he was in prison, he ended up finding a purpose. And, one of the things that resonated with me with this podcast that I listened to is JJ said that when he felt like he had nothing to live for, because he had two kids. He had a 3-year-old and I think it was 5 month old when he went to
Yep.
prison. He said he felt like he had nothing to live for anymore because he's in prison and he can't be part of his kids' lives. And what's the point of going on? And he said his mom came to him one day when he was in prison at their visit, and she looked at him and said, "No, you can't do this. You can't let the system get to you. You cannot let these people do that because then they win." So he had to figure out something to be able to do so that he could survive. And he ended up figuring out that his purpose was helping others. And he discovered that, being put in the situation that he was put in, had he not been there, he never would have known how to help people, and he never would have been able to be the kind of person that cared to help other people in the situation that he's in, or in, that he was in, that they're in. And he said that it was God moving in his life to give him a reason to be the man that he is becoming. And, I know with everything that you've gone through and I've gone through, and Vinny, I mean, not Vinny, with Darren and Gunner and every other parent that's an advocate, we've gone through this for a reason. And we've gotta recognize that we weren't put in this situation, for nothing. We were not thrown in this for nothing. This world needs people who are strong like us and who are able to stand up for the victims that are not strong enough to stand up for themselves. And, I, for one, Vinny, I'm very, very, very thankful that you are on our team. And I know that you'll be exonerated when it's time. I know that you have a couple of things left for God to teach you until before it's time for you to come back out and start fighting again and get back in the ring. And until that happens, we still have you here fighting, and I'm thankful that you're here fighting with us. I hate that everything's happened to you and happened to me and all the other parents, but you're one of the strong ones, and because of that, you are going to save so many lives.
Well, and not only that, I'm going against, something that's written in my judgment, where I am not supposed to speak out as far as the criminal case. Um, and I've been dropping certain hints here and there of what they've actually been doing. Just to point out, I just received a letter, matter of fact, from the bar associates against Judge French, and they are investigating what he has done as far as my case. So I will be hearing back from them I would hope within the next month or so, because they already started the investigation into Judge French. So I've also did a couple other things. Like today, I did a cease and desist on the Guardian ad litem as well.
Good, good. Those are really powerful, and if you know how to do them, you know how to do them right, and you know how to utilize them the right way. They actually will send CPS and their cronies running because they don't like it when they see that somebody understands that they have the ability to snatch their butts up out of the lower court and throw them into the federal court because federal court doesn't play. They don't give a shit if you've got the title of attorney or guardian ad litem or social worker. They'll throw your ass in jail. They don't care.
Yep. Hey, Lady P.
Who is that? May I bust in for a second? Who is the person talking? The
That's
lady?
Kim. I was telling him that
Hi, Kim.
I'm getting ready
Hi,
for a
Kim.
friend of mine's
Kim, this
birthday
is
tonight,
Herbert. I'm
so
sorry.
that's why I wasn't on camera. How are you, Herbert?
Okay, Kim. That's all right. It's okay. Hi, Kim. Kim, what you just said, most people don't understand. The statement you gave about the guy with the draft and the football, how things happened, how things came down, and everything worked out right. Most people do not understand. I totally understood what you were saying. Most people that went right over their head.
And that makes me really
It's
sad.
called metaphysics.
That makes me really sad that you understood
But
it,
listen,
and
Kim,
Vinny understood it,
Kim,
and everybody and the other advocates understand it, and it makes me
Kim,
extremely sad that you get it.
Kim, people don't understand metaphysics. That's called metaphysics.
Yep.
Everything happens for a reason. It just doesn't happen. And from that, if you follow through what you're trying to get, you will get.
Yep.
People don't get it. They want what they want, and I want it now.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
For every action, for every action is an opposite and equal reaction.
And for every other action, there's a consequence of that action.
For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Kim, boy, when you said it, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Unfortunately.
But most people don't get it.
And
they don't understand.
It makes me sad. The people that understand, it's one thing to understand it on paper. It's something completely different to understand it because you've experienced it. And it makes me really sad for the people who have experienced it to understand it in that capacity. It really breaks my heart for those parents, for those children, for those families who can say that they understand that in the same way that we can. It really breaks my heart.
Now,
it breaks your heart that they do understand it?
Yes, that they understand it from experience, not understand. You have the ability to understand it. I can write down 2 + 2 = 4 and show you how 2 + 2 = 4. But until you actually understand it because you came to that conclusion on your own, that's a completely different level of understanding. And everybody that's an advocate that we do the things that we do to help other parents, we understand that from experience. We understand it differently from those who understand it on paper. And it makes me sad that people that people understand it from experience, because the hell that you have to go through in order to get to that point to where you understand it from experience is just, I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
Nope.
No, but if people don't understand it from a metaphysical point of view, then they may have to go through things, but they understand why.
Yeah. But again, understanding it on
I'll
paper.
give you an analogy. I'm going to give you an analogy. I'm just going to give you an analogy. Person, Vinny, I'm going to pick you in New York. A person is in New York and they need a quarter, some quarters to put in the what do you call it, the parking meter. They don't believe in buying lottery tickets. They think it's a waste of time, a waste of money. They go up and ask the guy at the newsstand for some quarters. He says, here, $5. I want to break the $5 for some quarters. The guy says, no, I can't give you any quarters. You got to buy something. He says, "Oh, come on, just give me $4 bills and 4 quarters." Newsman says, "No, I'm sorry. You got to buy something." He's like, "I can't find. Give me 2 lottery tickets." Then the guy gives him 4 quarters. Guess what? $2 million. Boom, just like that. The lotto hit. He wasn't buying no lottery tickets. He wasn't thinking about lottery tickets. He just wanted his quarters for the parking meter.
Right.
And the guy says, "You got to buy something." He bought it. He bought the 2 lottery tickets. He didn't care about that. He got threw them in the trash can. He didn't care. He wanted to park. He wanted the quarters for the parking meter. And then the guy really hit. By the way, I'm not making this up. It really happened.
Yeah, he's not.
Honestly, that's usually the way it is with the lottery. Somebody that isn't intended on trying to win anything is the one that wins.
Yes. Well, it's the same thing with CPS. I see the same correlation. Remember, I keep preaching about stop yelling at the police and yelling at CPS at your door. If they don't have a warrant to come in, be nice, be kind, and say, "No, you can't come in."
Yes.
That's it. Why lose your cool, yelling, screaming at them? Because they love it.
Yeah, but
They're having a grand old time listening
they're
to
the
you.
messengers.
Yeah.
Don't shoot the
That's
messenger.
all they are. That's all they are.
Anyway, Vinny,
That's
Vinny,
right.
what's
But
going
that's
on with
what
your
everybody
case?
does.
Tell us what's going on with your case. I know you have some updates on it.
Yeah. All right. So we had court Thursday. We had. Hold on a second. Put my sandwich down. I'm trying to eat my dinner too. So we had court on Thursday. Well, 2 days prior to court, our entire discovery file went completely missing in the CPS case. Was gone. The attorneys couldn't log in. It was completely deleted. Well, that morning before court, it popped back in. Okay. Now on that discovery, there was the home visit that they did with my sister to, to kind of profile her in their own kind of retarded way, and to say that she was unfit because she believes the word of her brother. She told them, in quote, "I am not taking your side. I am not taking his side. I am a neutral party for my niece." And they told her straight out, "You have to side with us, or you won't get her." Okay, that topped the top of the cake, and and she told both attorneys this, and face to face, because she came to court with me on Thursday. We get into the courtroom, and we're discussing everything. But before that, the caseworkers had come into our meeting with the attorneys, knocked, walk in. The one stayed right away from me because I had served her the cease and desist order. So she stayed away from me and had her supervisor serve me a TPR. Okay, mind you, they cannot serve you a TPR. It has to be either the officer of the court or an officer of the constable's office that has to serve you. Wherefore, they asked me to sign a paper consenting to me being served, and then I said, "I refuse your service, no." So I did not consent to their TPR. We get into the courtroom. We're talking about the missus refused to. We get into the courtroom and they're discussing everything. Everyone's saying who they are. They almost leave out the foster parent, Adam, and he's standing in the back like a dummy out of nowhere. And I thought to myself, okay, well, this guy is supposed to be the foster parent, yet CPS is not pointing out that the foster parent is present in the courtroom. That's their job as the supposed liaison for these foster parents and for these parents that are having the children in their custody for the time being. They're supposed to be the ones that represent them as well, but they're not. They're not even introducing them. They're not nothing. They're just over the friggin' heads. Well, they get to talking, and we're talking about the case, and um, my attorney looks over and says, "Well, we're missing discovery, and it's a 15-page discovery." And the judge asked, "Okay, where is this discovery?" And they tried to say it was this big, long, horrendous file on my sister. Okay. Um, Meanwhile, they have obtained records from her bank account. They obtained other records that went back to the year 1990, 1992, when she had a case, but it wasn't against her. It was against my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law, who abused my niece, my oldest niece at that, emotionally, physically, mentally. Um, and they tried to pull that into the courtroom, and that ain't gonna happen. Um, that's over 25 years old. That's not allowed. So I've been doing some investigating into everything, and they pulled my juvenile record, which is over 25 years old, a sealed record, into court. That is their basis of the complaints and charges that they've put on me, is using my juvenile record against me. Okay. That is the basis of their claim. I've also found out that the judge, Montgomery, and I'm going to say her name because I don't give two fucks if she's listening or not. Judge Montgomery, or better yet, as administrative law judge, because that's what she is. She is a magistrate of the court. She ain't no goddamn judge. She ain't an honor. She's a notary of the public and nothing more. And I did look into her as well. She sat on the case 4 times already. 4 times. The initial, when they did the PPO order, and then a couple other times, and then the Jeopardy hearing she was in on as well. So she's biased 4 times because she has been this same judge to this whole thing. Well, as they're talking, and she's talking to the AAG and the caseworker, I'm watching her blink her eyes and wink at the AAG, and I'm seeing this just by watching her, and I'm watching her language in her body, and I'm going, yeah, she's on the department side because she's probably in their goddamn pocket. Also found out through a friend of mine who stated that yes, in fact, they do have bonds. They have bonds within their bonds within their bonds. Okay, so CPS has bonds that are more than 1 or 2. They go through like 5 or 6 bonds. Okay. So they're making profit and tucking it in the back, and no one's even noticing it because the federal government or the government in Maine really does not care because we are very corrupt up here. From our legislative committee to our governor to the judges to the guardian ad litems to half of these attorneys, they're all crooked, every single one of them. And they're all trying to take these kids and traffic them across state. This is proven. This is facts, people. This is not. You can look it up. There is many kids that have gone missing out of Maine. Many kids. And this is statewide. This is beyond. But they tried to TPR us, and now that I serve the guardian ad litem, she can't speak to me. I serve the caseworker, the supervisor. They can't even, I have it direct in there. No indirect or direct contact. So that means that even if they show up at the courthouse, they can't talk to me directly or her directly at all. They can't even question.
Okay, I do want to correct you on one thing that you did say, Vinny. So you said that they're not allowed to serve you. So I looked it up. In your state, a person can serve court documents without being an officer of the court. However, no person can serve a court document to another party of a case. If they are the party, if they are party to the case in any way, shape, form, or fashion, then they cannot serve you. So they would have to get a third party to serve you. They could get a private individual without any specific connection to the court to do that. However, they cannot, because they served you themselves and they're party to the case.
Yep,
That
they
was
are.
improper service. And what you need to do is you do need to file a motion to dismiss that TPR based on improper filing. I mean, improper service.
Yeah, I can't I can't talk to the attorneys about that either because Richard is out of the country on vacation until Thursday.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean Allison's around, so I'll maybe you can message.
Yeah, but remember, he said he'll check his email
Well,
here. And
why don't you send him a message on that because you're better at typing than I am. I misspell shit all the time.
I use my fancy little thing.
Well, you need to start being more initiative than me because I can't be doing everything myself.
I know, I'm just saying, I use my fancy little thing. It's not.
Sorry, guys, we're having a wife and husband kind of argument because
Domestic dispute on live social media. That's fantastic. We love to hear those.
it ain't even domestic, really. It's just me saying that I can't be doing it all because I have from the get-go. I have fought this case since day one. I haven't.
Intimidate women.
Well, that's because you and I'm gonna put this out there, and I don't care what you women think, and I'm gonna say it as is. You women are intimidated by law enforcement, and you women are intimidated by CPS workers, where the men were not intimidated.
I don't think I entirely agree with that. I would say women of a certain age group are. Because I can tell you right now, if you go into the women in my age group, which is, believe it or not, mid 40s.
Well, yeah, but that's because most of them came from the generation that you don't want to fuck around and find out generation.
Exactly. So the younger generations, that's a different statement. I will absolutely agree with you on that if you're talking about the younger generation of women. But the older generation of women are, I dare your ass.
What younger generation are you talking about? Under 40 or over 40?
Under 40.
I'm over 40.
Yeah, I'm over 40. I think it's probably like, if your birthday, if your birth year starts with 19, you're in that category.
Yeah.
Of fuck around and find out. Fuck with my kids and you're not going to like the results. But if your birthday birth year starts with 2000, you tend to be a bit of a pansy because they brainwashed our kids to believe that, the government is all powerful and you have to do what they say. And then they brainwashed them further to make them believe that CPS is the government.
Yep.
Well, then, Brenda, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I believe that happened with the 19 people. Obviously, the 19 people didn't do well teaching the 2000 people.
Well, the thing is that it's not. I don't think it's necessary that the 19 people didn't teach them very well. I think it was the fact that the 19 people were, put in a situation where we were now having to deal with single parent homes, and when we're dealing with single parent homes, it puts us at the mercy of having to have somebody else raise our children. Take care of educate our children, not raise our children, educate our children. And so, because as a single mom, I have to work, I have to pay the bills, and I can't exactly, work overnight. What am I going to do? Leave my 7-year-old home by themselves? No, I've got to work while my child's in school, while I have free babysitting, and that's what the schools essentially were is a free babysitter. And oh, by the way, we're also going to educate your child for you while we're giving you free babysitter, services. So, we kind of got to a situation where it's like um, we're put in a position where we have no choice because the government wants for us to be a divided system. They want us to be, to where we don't have two parent households because divided household, divided country is a easily conquerable country. Takes very little effort to conquer.
So what year do you think all this happened? 1990 what? Or 1980 what?
Well,
What
the
year?
thing is we know that 97 is when the Adoption Safe Families Act was enacted. And,
Yep.
and I was born in 79. I was only in 97. I was only 18 years old. I didn't even have the opportunity to learn very much about the government other than the way that the government is supposed to operate by the time I was 18 years old. Bill and Hillary were already 35, 40 years old when they fucked up this country with that act.
So then it was right around that
Yep.
time then
Yeah,
when Bill and Hillary were in, yeah. So it had to happen. It affected the 2000
It,
people.
exactly.
it affected the millennials and it affected the what do they call them? Oh,
Gen
Jesus,
X,
no, no. Gen Zs. Yeah.
Gen Z. I don't know. I don't care about what they're called. All I know is that I can tell you who is going to be one that I would like to stand next to and fight when we decide to all get our shit together and overthrow this fucked up government. And I can tell you who I don't want to be standing next to me.
Yep. I'm the same way.
But
Yeah.
Herbert, the other thing is this also started a little, before that, the war on blacks started before the war on whites. And the war on blacks started to divide this country, put, single mothers in to government housing and put them on welfare and put daddy in prison so that they had more children that they could start taking. Well, after a while, they started seeing that these children that were, coming from black mamas, when it's a single mama household, they didn't want these kids anymore because these kids are little assholes. We don't want these kids. We want kids that are gonna be easy to do what we tell them to do. So let's start targeting the white folks now. So this is not something that is, we can just pinpoint specifically when it happened. It really started, when our country started to run on the ideals of division is the way that this country needs to be formatted, and let's put whites against blacks and everybody against the Chinese or the Jews or the Japanese or whatever. That's stuff that happened before I was born, before I was thought of. And
Well,
we've just
blacks were
run on its
trying.
coattails, and we're running into the ground. Now we're in the whole LGBTQ and the whole trans movement, and let me cut off my genitalia to satisfy some, mental illness, whatever. So we're in there now. The next generation is going to be some other crazy bullshit division, and those people that are easily divided are the ones that CPS and our government is going to target.
Blacks
That's
were
the
only
history.
trying to get blacks were only trying to get equality. They just wanted to sit in the front of the
Right.
bus like everybody else. They were
Exactly.
just asking for
Exactly. But that's not
equality.
what the
They
government
wanted to
wanted.
be
The
able
government,
to blacks.
yep.
For president.
And the government wanted
Women
us,
wanted to be able.
and the government wanted white people, wanted to make sure that black people didn't have that opportunity. So white people were programmed to believe that you got dark skin, you're a horrible person, you're a bug, you're a piece of garbage, and you need to be treated like that. So we were programmed to hate y'all for the color of your skin. And then we finally had folks that, went, hey, what the fuck? This isn't working. We're not doing this shit. Why are you trying to do this? So they said, okay, well, the racism's not going to work as like it used to. So let's try with poverty. Let's try with gay and lesbian. Let's try with transvestites. Let's try to make our kids think that they're cats and need to have litter boxes in the classroom. That's, it's all about divide us. It's all about create controversy and create a situation where somebody's got something negative to say about somebody else. So there is a fight amongst us so that we have no clue what the hell they're doing to us.
Well, right now, I think what's going on is the working class versus the millionaires and the billionaires.
Yep. And then it is, but then amongst the working class is fighting amongst themselves with the LGBTQ stuff.
Upright against each other. They didn't have beds. They didn't have blankets.
She spoke for one of them in court, criticizing the Department of Children's Services.
Well, it just seems like there's no end to it, Kim.
Yeah. It's sick. It's sick. It's sad.
Yeah.
Pursue something that doesn't look right.
Because Kim, what did you say about the thing that you found on the state on Maine?
According to what I looked up, I did a quick search. Who was allowed to serve court documents in Maine? The sheriff, an attorney, or anyone who is not a party to the case and is at least 18 years old, or a person that is appointed by the court to do so. So that means, Vinny, if I'm suing you in court for something, I can't serve you those documents. I would have to ask my sister to do it, or my brother, or my coworker, somebody that's not a listed a party to the case or not an interested party to the case, who doesn't have any kind of interest in it. So the fact that the CPS worker served you, that's improper service, and you need to file to have it dismissed based on improper service. Okay.
Lady P, I just watched that video that you just sent me. Wow. I wanna kind of play this for you guys to hear. Because I think that you guys need to hear what happened in this video. So let me get that on. I'm gonna go back. So if you guys can be quiet a little bit.
Out of the foster program,
Okay.
they listed them as homeschooled.
No, that's good.
No adults
Oh,
saw
I
them.
definitely taking strawberry.
The DCS commissioner told us, without an allegation of abuse or neglect, the state has no legal authority to monitor the children any further. State Senator Ken Yeager from Kingston got state law changed because of this case. It says any parents who get state money for adopting children need to provide medical records or school enrollment records every year. He says, hopefully, to stop this from ever happening again. Reporting from Knoxville, I'm Vinny Simlot.
Hold on, it didn't play all of it.
New at 6 tonight, the Tennessee Department of Children's Services is facing sharp criticism from a child victim of abuse.
Speaking through a representative, my child says the state agency failed him.
DCS, you failed us, as well as the other people that are supposed to protect us.
Michael and Shirley Gray were the adoptive parents of that child. They will now spend the rest of their lives in prison for subjecting their children to severe abuse. That included 2 of their children who died. The Grays pocketed almost $3,000 a month in state money to help take care of their children, accepting the money even after the deaths of those 2 children.
10 News reporter Vinny Simlot explained how lawmakers and prosecutors believe the system failed.
Reports were ignored.
He told several times that he was being mistreated.
The state kept sending the Grays money, all while they abused the children they adopted, killing 2 of them.
And there's no way you can look at this case and not see that the system failed these children.
As part of the guilty plea, Michael and Shirley Gray were sentenced to life in prison on Tuesday. Leanne Goldstein, a counselor, works with 2 of the children the Grays adopted.
Those kids slept upright against each other. They didn't have beds. They didn't have blankets.
She spoke for one of them in court, criticizing the Department of Children's Services. The Grays forced their children to sleep in cages, to use the bathroom in buckets. They buried the 2 who died on their property.
Pursue something that doesn't look right. Not just to come in and do your checks and balances.
Once the Grays adopted the 5 kids out of the foster program, they listed them as homeschooled, meaning no adults saw them. At the time, the DCS commissioner told us, without an allegation of abuse or neglect, the state has no legal authority to monitor the children any further. State Senator Ken Yeager from Kingston got state law changed because of this case. It says any parents who get state money for adopting children need to provide medical records or school enrollment records every year. He says, hopefully, to stop this from ever happening again. Reporting from Knoxville, I'm Vinny Simla.
We did ask DCS if it wanted to respond to the claims made in court. So far, the agency has yet to respond.
And that's what they do all the time. They will not respond to anything. Even up here in Maine, when they're asked the question to respond to the news, they do not respond.
And they hide behind confidentiality. Oh, we can't talk to you about it because we don't want to identify the children in question or this, that, and the other. And it's bullshit.
Well,
it's bullshit. It's not even about that.
But they'll tell everyone the reason why the kids were taking, like they did to me, and they put me out there to the public. Okay, they have defamation of character me to the fullest out there. I am not charged. I am not guilty. And they're saying in my case I am guilty. The fuck I am. I have not seen no guilty charge. So for you to be sitting there saying I'm guilty of a crime that I haven't even committed is beyond me, CPS. So if you're listening, which I know you are because I was told by my attorneys you have been watching our show, I do not give two fucks what you got to say. Your bullshit is filled with a bunch of fucking lies, a bunch of corruption, a bunch of scrutiny, and your time is going to be coming to an end before long, because once Trump is in office, we are all coming from you. And I speak for all of us, we the people. Yep.
Hey, Kim, what about the Freedom of Information Act? Can't they get information from CPS with using the Freedom of Information Act?
The problem with the Freedom of Information Act and being able to use that is that because the children are minors, they don't have any authority to consent to anything about them being made public in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So they do not have the ability to release that information under the Freedom of Information Act because of that. But they do have ways that they can release that information under a FOIA. They refuse to use those ways. There's ways that they can actually they can redact things so that it doesn't expose who the child actually is. But they also, instead of them using the child's name, they can actually just assign the child a number and release the files under the numbers. But they refuse to do that because, number one, that's going to be a little bit more work for them. But number two, it's going to expose what they do.
I see.
So yeah, so she's right, and they do that. They cover up their files just like they did in our case. They got rid of that file real quick because it would show the court that my sister was full on capability of taking care of my daughter, her niece, and it proves that she had no record whatsoever. Her record has been clean. She even worked for a federal government agency better known as FedEx. And FedEx does federal background checks. And she worked for them for more than 4 years.
And they wouldn't give your sister, they wouldn't give your sister the ability to take your children.
Nope, they were trying to deny her that, telling her that because she sided on the neutral side, that she wasn't going to get the child because of that. Where does it say in the Constitution that you have that right?
What's the neutral side, Vinny? Help me with that.
Neutral meaning she does not side with them, nor does she side with me. She is on the side to protect the child.
Yeah. So what's wrong? That's a good thing.
Right. and they don't like that.
He's
They
saying
want
the
her to.
CPS says unless you sit there and bash your brother and say that he doesn't deserve to have his kids, that we're not going to let you have them. And she's saying, look, I don't want to get involved in y'all's little tit for tat bullshit. I just want my nieces and nephews to not be in the system. I just want them to be safe. I don't give a shit about y'all squabbling like little children. I just want the kids to be protected. And that's not what CPS wants. CPS wants her to get involved in the squabble, and they want her to go up against him. So because she won't do that, they're saying, fine, we're not going to give you the kids. We're going to let them get punished. We're going to let them get hurt. We're going to put them in danger because, the adults are a bunch of fucking idiots.
Okay, so if she played the game with them, because she has nothing against Vinny, but if she plays their game with them, then she would have gotten the kids?
Yep.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly.
She should have played the game. I think my brother is this, my brother is that, and blah, blah, blah. And then she would have gotten the kids.
Listen to me, Herbert. Because whatever happens in the CPS case, whatever's said in the CPS case, affects the criminal case no matter what. They can use it against
the CPS case affects the criminal. The CPS case affects the criminal case. And the criminal case,
and
I'm hearing that, and vice versa. Yeah, each case affects each other.
Yep.
But you haven't been convicted.
What's even more messed up is they will drag out these criminal cases, and then they will terminate the parents' rights to their children because the criminal case didn't get resolved quick enough for this CPS case to rectify. Oh, it's taken too long. We've had the kids in the system too long, so we're going to terminate your rights because we've had them for so long.
And then they'll put you into trial the following week and find you not guilty or dismiss your charges.
Yep.
And you haven't been convicted of anything. Am I correct, Vinny?
Nope.
When are they going to make a decision on that?
We don't go back to court until February, and that's going to be our first. That's going to be our first ever actual, hopefully, disposition conference. But we've only just received the video, the body cam, and the screenshots of stuff that was just recent, and it has nothing to do with what we wanted for discovery. So they got 30 days. And if we don't see that within the 30 days, I am going after this little puke DA.
Is this another 30 days? Is this an additional 30 days to the 30 days that you just gave him?
No, this is straight up 30 days from the time that we just gave him.
It's just what they were given. So, it's like
he gave
so we're talking like we're talking like February. So 30 days is like February 1st, for example.
Nope.
30 days is January like
15th or 16th of January.
Because it was only a few days after.
Because it was only a few days after court that I got the sanction motion back.
Oh, so they didn't start 30 days from when they started the motion, the sanction originally.
They started it from the day that the judge ruled on it.
Okay, so just because you submitted it, it didn't.
No, they started it from when the judge ruled on it, which was the 11th or 12th of
it was the 12th of last month.
The 12th of last month that I had the hearing. So it was shortly after that.
The 11th, 12th of December.
Yep.
So we're looking at January 11th, 12th.
We're looking at I can tell you when I got the sanction hearing thing back.
I mean, 30 days would be January 11th to 12th.
Hold on. We got it back. We got it back on right. Nope, not there. Right here. Court order sanction. was 12/18/2024. So 30 days from that day.
January 18th.
Yep.
Well, unless they count weekends and everything.
Nope.
I mean,
that's
yeah,
without
that's a
counting
good
weekends.
question. Are they counting? Are they counting the weekends, or are they counting just the business days?
Just the business days.
Oh Jesus!
That's 6 weeks then.
But he still has 30 days, and so far I have not seen any of that discovery that we actually asked for. I'm seeing discovery in the new side of the new charges of the false arrest for administrative whatever that they put me on, and the resisting arrest, which I have proof of on my phone now, of them staging outside of my work before I even showed up in their cars, hidden out of sight where you could not see them.
So why didn't they stop and why didn't they do that? Take care of that out of your professional business, opposed to bringing you into there.
Right.
Why not surveil that he went in and say, yes, we caught him going in, and then go after you outside of business?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like they had plenty of opportunity there to do it before his work. And I see what you're saying. They could have done it after work or whatever.
They could have done it while I was on my break, because they knew I was out on break because they told them that.
Not like you went
But you
in
had
there.
the authority. The part that gets me is you had the authority from the first judge to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I had the authority from the original bail judge that did my bail conditions to be able to work. Yes.
So you should be able to use that to your defense.
I've tried, and I've been shot down by Steven so many times.
Why?
That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I don't know.
That doesn't make sense because Vinny, knowing you, you wouldn't just go to work if somebody didn't tell you you can go to work.
They were trying to put me back. They were trying to keep me in jail. They were trying to revoke my bail.
Did you have a new set of conditions after that first set of conditions?
No.
All
the same conditions, all the same thing. They just took it so I couldn't work anymore.
So if you have the conditions that state that you can work, because they're saying you went to the bank.
Yeah.
Right.
Which, even both attorneys in the other case said that.
Well, maybe you were going to the bank to deposit the money for the restaurant.
Right.
Who knows? It could have been.
In other words, you can't go any place other than house and job, and then you deviate it by going to the bank.
Because he was doing a deposit for the restaurant.
That still sounds fishy to me.
Yeah, everything is fishy to the point of the officer going into my bank to get my financial records, to her showing up at my job why I wasn't there, getting information, pulling information without a court order or a judge's order, no warrant for that information. She's just pulling whatever information she can that she
because
can
you're
get out of it.
You're not on probation or anything. You're just out on conditions.
Yep.
Which is a whole different world.
Yep.
They don't have carte blanche to you. There are just certain things that you're restricted from doing.
Yep.
And you were given permission to go to work.
Yep.
Vinny, there's no doubt in my mind. If you were not told you could not go to work, you wouldn't have went to work. You would not have left your house.
Right.
And how can
I get all my family telling me, why don't you go out? Why don't you go out? And you're not monitored. They haven't even been here. Why don't you just go outside? Because I don't want to give, as soon as I do, they're going to find some way to try to arrest me again. And I don't want that, because I want to be able to fight these assholes and prove to these assholes that they're fucking with the wrong person. And then I
That's
hold
why
my
I go back to that. That's why I take everything back to that first judge. You should get that judge to jump out of the woodwork and say, I gave him permission to go to work.
The thing is he went to the bank
Oh,
in the same parking lot.
Yeah, within the same parking lot. Yep.
But it's not on the
so they
condition.
were watching you. They were watching you all the time, waiting for you to step out of line.
Yep.
It wasn't just that day they were watching
But
you.
listen,
They were doing the surveillance.
Lynn can't go to the bank for you. Your mom can't go to the bank for you. You have to do your own business.
Yep.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's not supposed to go any place but to the job. So they've been watching his every move.
Yeah, but handling your paycheck should be part of your job.
Yep.
I agree with you, but he didn't get a court order saying he could go to the bank.
Right.
So my point is, they literally, without unbeknownst to you, they were watching you every day.
Oh, they were there every chance that I was seeing cops come through at nighttime through the drive-through when I was working, and one of them even recognized me, and I knew who he was because he was one of the cops that was here at the house for the PFA bullshit. And you know what? That cop was a ridiculous little asshole too, because he didn't even do his fucking job. I'm the one that made.
You know, the problem is there's too many people in power that don't have enough education as to how actually things are supposed to work. They just want to do things their way, and then when people who don't have the power say, "Wait a minute, what the fuck?" they sit there and say, "Well, I don't give a shit if it's the right way. I'm doing it my way anyway because I've got the power."
The problem also is considering what Vinny's charges are, these cops don't realize that this is all bullshit. So all they're seeing is this charges that he has, and they're like, screw this guy. We're going to put the boots to this dude. You're not going to be in my community being this way. That's the problem. That's totally
I mean,
the
you know,
problem.
it's what happened to innocent until proven guilty. And actually, you know, I saw something today. The Supreme Court actually ruled that if you have a PFA against you or a restraining order against you, that you are not allowed to be in possession of a firearm. How the fuck is that okay? You have a PFA against you. I can go right now and file a PFA against any one of you, and it will be granted immediately, okay? I don't have to go and testify in court. All I have to do is just say, you know, Bob did this or that or the other, and the judge, you know, think my story's good enough, and now you've got a PFA against you. You don't even have the ability to go up there and argue that, wait a minute, this woman's lying her fucking ass off. You just automatically have a PFA against you, and now it's illegal for you to possess a gun.
In what state? In what state? Every state is different.
That was the Supreme Court ruling.
You have a PFA against you. I'm asking you a question.
Message me, and I'll send you a link to the article so you can see it.
Okay. I'll get you information from Vinny.
You have her in the group. She's in the group with us, Herbert.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just message me because I'll end up forgetting. I'm doing 1,200 things at one time, Herbert. I forget my own name if I don't have somebody remind me of it.
I'm going to go in the group. What I'm thinking about is people when they go buy a firearm and they have to fill out the FFL form. There's nothing on there about that. Absolutely nothing.
Now, on the other hand, you know, I do want to share this knowledge out there, and I hope, you know, Lisa's watching and listening. She shared some knowledge with me today that I didn't even know. That the cops in Maine and all of these other people involved in these cases are not under the federal U.S. Constitution oath. They are operating under their own oaths.
Vinny, what have I been telling
you forever?
Because
they're privatized. Because they're private businesses. Because they're not part of the government. The only law enforcement agency that is a true law enforcement agency is the state troopers.
Yes, but they don't even operate under their oaths. I can tell you that right now. I know it for a fact.
True, but their oath actually is one that makes them actual legal law enforcement. Anybody else is not actually a true law enforcement agent. They are a third party.
Well, no, the sheriff's selected
law
by
enforcement individual.
Because the sheriff's selected by the people.
Right, but they're still privatized. But the people who pay them and who they put their oath under is still privatized.
So what about a township police department? They're not real police?
They're all privatized. They're not government. Just like I said with CPS. CPS is privatized. They all have investors that expect a return on their investment. They are all privatized.
So county police, for example, you go to a state where they have county police officers, they're privatized?
Yes.
Because the town's incorporated.
Yep.
No, the county. Like Suffolk County Police, Nassau County Police.
They're all incorporated.
Yes, the only law enforcement agency within the state that is a true law enforcement agency under the Constitution is the state troopers.
Okay, so that means that troopers is, I don't want to get into that, but that means you're saying state police officers.
Yeah, same thing, just different terminology. Yes, same thing.
No. Here's what I'm saying. You have state troopers, you have state highway patrol, you have state park police, you have all kinds of state police.
They're just divisions of the state troopers office.
Right, exactly. And I mentioned the other day, you have state university police. So they're real police, state university.
Yep. But those are only the universities, which are University of Alabama at Birmingham, or University of Wisconsin at Madison, or University of New York at New York, or whatever. It has to be a state college.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And New York has over 56. New York has over 56 state-run divisions with state police.
Right.
No,
yeah, but they're all under that umbrella of the state troopers office.
Right. But I'm going to answer a question to Lady P. But you can charge them under color of law because they are acting under color of law.
Yes. Well, Lady P, the thing is, constitutional violations only apply to government employees. That's not totally true. Constitutional violations apply to government employees and those who are acting in a governmental capacity. So when CPS comes in, they are a third-party contractor, which has been hired by the state to administer government policy. So while they're not directly hired by the government, they are still technically a government agency.
In the state of Maine, it's still DHHS.
Yep.
Yes.
So they're not
every state seems to have its own little different acronym. Alabama, it's Department of Human Resources. We call it DHR.
Yeah.
So yeah, the CPS.
In Maine, they just voted to have them break away from DHHS and become their own thing, which now that will privatize them.
Yep.
No, they're already privatized. They're just contracting with the state. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to break away to where they don't even have to contract with the state, to where they can actually be their own organization without having any prior agreement with the state to administer policy.
Right. There's nothing that's taking them over. They're themselves.
Yep.
Right. All right, guys. Look, I'm pulling up right now at my friend's house. It's her birthday tonight, so I'm gonna go hang out with her for a little bit, and I will catch y'all on the flip side.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Hey, we can talk. I told you, I messaged you earlier what hours we can do and what days.
Okay.
Holler at me tomorrow and we can hammer all that out.
All righty, sounds good.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kim.
Bye.
All
Bye.
right, guys. We're about at that time, anyways. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do last words for everyone. That includes everybody in the chat as well. I want everyone's last words tonight to count. So I'm going to start with the chat. Everyone that is in the chat, I want to hear your last words for tonight. And I will give you a minute or so to figure out your last words and to type it. So take your time. But in the meantime, while you guys are typing yours, I will have Herbert give us his last words.
My last words is try to keep you cool in the presence of the police and with CPS because they're nothing more than a messenger. And you can yap, scream, yell at them, tell them that they're wrong and that your case is not correct and blah, blah, blah. They don't care. They really don't care. You're preaching to people that don't care. So you just have to uphold your rights, which is you can't come in my house. Period. That's it. You have a court order, I'll let you in. You have a warrant, I'll let you in. You don't have any of that, you're not coming in. It's just that plain as day. Don't argue with them.
Awesome. Darren.
You.
Last words from you.
Last words for me is go on Amazon and look up Stay Calm. CPS is coming. Check it out. Purchase it. It helps the show. It helps our cause. It helps everything. And you guys should definitely get the book.
And don't forget, tomorrow night is the Tip and Punisher show and the Gunner show later on in the night.
Oh, yeah. Gunner's shows tomorrow night, too, start.
Run
in for CPS.
Lady P's last words are much love and many hugs. Albie's last words are never give up. It is a path forward, and this will not last forever. Brenda's last words are keep healthy in body and mind. Get court media before 10 years is up. Video of all your hearings. Absolutely, Brenda. I agree. And with that said, I don't know who else is in here that's going to be commenting. And get your kids out of public schools. Damn right, Lady P, because public schools are destroying our children. My last words for tonight are this: keep fighting, never give up. We're in this all together, and it's time that we start voicing more and more and more as we go. That includes if you people want to get out there and get on the show, you need to get a hold of Darren. You can contact him by emailing CPS victims, CPSV hunting justice at Gmail. And get a hold of Darren if you would like to talk about your stuff or be on the show. Let us know. We'll get you a link. We're always looking for new people to kind of express what they're going through, what constitutional rights are being violated, all of that. So just keep that in mind going forward, that if you want to get your voices heard on any one of these shows, you need to speak up to us and let us know, and we will get you on this show. So with that said, I hope you guys all have a great night, a great evening. Stay safe.
Hey, Vinny, I got some.
All right, I'll let you play it out as we end the show.
All right.
So I'll let you take control of that, Darren.
No, finish your words, man.
You as well, Herbert. And Miss Clearwater said, keep on keeping on. Do it till it's done worldwide. Absolutely, Miss Clearwater. Absolutely.
Right. We're good?
Yep, we're good.
We live in a land paid for by blood, a country that was built up from sticks and mud. Our ancestors crossed 1,000 miles over the ocean, leaving behind a past that was negative emotion. war-sided land. They all jumped overboard and swam. They couldn't believe they were living in freedom. The government they once had didn't need them. It was tough during the first days, figuring this strange land. Many grouped together and started a plan. They knew they needed something to keep them in line. This is when they wrote the Constitution, man, it was divine. A bunch of men agreeing never lost their mind. They gave us all our freedom, one amendment at a time. And when they finished writing, 39 men had to sign. We have freedom, you can't take away. The Constitution guarantees that. So take your false authority and go the fuck away. The next 200 years came with a price. A bunch of men and women gave the ultimate sacrifice. They did it for the people alive today. You don't hear very many taking 3 times to say thank you, whoever you are, who gave your life, and for their families left on earth alone for their life. Thank you for your gift, the life that you gave. It lets us live as free men. Oh, glory we will wave. Now we are here in 2025, a year led by selfishness. It's no surprise the government is taking over. It's a friggin' mess. Our kids are being taken by people who must be diseased. Who the hell gave them that power? These actions need to cease. So listen up, you voted officials, we are here to say you need to pay attention to issues, because we aren't going away. We come bearing the Constitution, well recited if we may. We the people is how it begins. The words that follow, you can fill them in, because they are true as they were meant to be. You're taking our freedoms one at a time. No one's paying attention except for us reciting these lines. You don't get to take away the rights we were given. Taking away our children should get you in prison. I'm not messing around, it's no laughing matter. Give our children freedom, or feel your teeth shatter. We are the ones who make the decisions. You lost track of your job, we're here to